now come to our guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, Carolyn Creswell.
So I start by saying think outside the square. And I was an 18-year-old student that my parents had worked hard for my education, but they didn't give me a lot of pocket money. So I used to babysit on a Saturday night. I worked in a menswear shop at Christmas time. I worked behind the register at Coles up at Taronga. And when I finished school, the people I babysat for said, would I make muesli one day a week in a little bakery in Malvern Road? So that was my Tuesday job. And after about 6 months, they said to me, look, we want to do the honourable thing and let you know we've put the business on the market. And the other lady and I that worked there sort of had a talk, and we thought, well, we love the muesli, we already make it, why couldn't we be the ones to buy this little business? So that's where the name Carman's comes from. It's the first 3 letters of my name and the first 3 letters of my business partner's name. After about 2 years, my partner said to me, do you know what? I just want to know what time I'm going to work, what time I'm going to be leaving at the end of the day. So at that point, I bought her share of the business out. So that was about 2 years into the business, and I've run it myself ever since. And I think the one thing, if you can take away from my story, is my sort of ability to have a bit of resilience, and if things don't happen right the first time, to think, oh well, I'll go back again. And so after quite a few of these rejections, I've been up to Coles, and I remember I got a brown paper bag from my mum, because it was the nicest one in her sort of throw-out bag collection, and I'd ironed it to put my samples in. I was so proud and so sick with nerves in the foyer of Coles Myer. Took it in, did my presentation. The buyer said nothing for 10 minutes. And then he said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 20 stores. Deliver the product in yourself. Let's just see how those 20 stores perform. So I proceeded to leave, burst into tears in front of the receptionist, ring everyone I knew, and that was kind of the real break for Carman's. After that, we got into their distribution centre in Victoria and slowly got into New South Wales and then national. So people look at Carman's now and think, oh, this overnight success. It's been 18 years. So this is a screen dump from our website with a range of products, and we also do a lot of work for Qantas. And that's a deliberate strategy of mine. 7% of people who eat Carman's are because they've eaten us on an aeroplane. It's amazingly successful. We do a lot of work with Light and Easy, the diet program, so we do a lot of cereals for them. And we still have distributors in each state who supply cafes, delis, independent supermarkets. Our biggest clients are Sainsbury's in the UK and Whole Foods and a range of supermarket chains in the US. It's sort of something that's definitely, we put a lot of focus in and now a lot of money to try and build our export business. So our secret weapon, so this is my mother. I look back now and I think that I sort of just took it for granted that I had a very strong family life. Sometimes having a fallback, having some security behind you of your family means that you could take more risks. So often we get ourselves caught in our business and we just live in our business. We don't pull ourselves out and say, what's it like being on the other side of the business? How does it feel being a customer of this business? And that's something I'm very conscious of at Carman's. So our vision is to be the most iconic Australian food brand loved throughout the world. I've been passionate about not only buying Australian product, but also buying it from Australian-owned companies, because I think there's no point buying Australian product and the profits going overseas. My key message is to not be in a position where money stresses you out. Try and remove the clutter and franticness from your life. To work hard but work effectively. I work 4 days a week, have Wednesdays off. I don't work nights, I don't work weekends, and I can still have 2 pretty serious board positions and run the business. Saying no more often, just because you're asked, doesn't mean you have to go. I don't think that applies to the Lord Mayor, but for the rest of us, it does. Own your attitude. And something I always say to myself, how will I feel about an issue in a day, a month, a year? Something that's like consuming you today. Is this going to be an issue in a week's time? Is this an issue in a month's time? And often if you put some time perspective on these issues, you realise that it actually will pass. This is my beautiful family. So time management becomes even more crucial. There's less time for meetings. In fact, I avoid meetings like the plague. If people can't explain something over the phone to me, it's very rare. You really need to see someone in person. I find that they just consume your whole day. I have all the time in the world for Carman staff. Internal meetings are a different thing. To be in the moment, so when I'm at work, it's go, 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 but when I'm at home, absolutely click into being a mum. This is some of the work I do with the Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission. I see a lot of data. We're spending $38 billion a year on female education in Australia, but on Australian ASX boards we've got 92% men. I think we're about to be overtaken by Q8. There's more women on boards in Q8 than in Australia. So I think that there is a disconnect, and I think that a lot of that disconnect is happening. Women are doing very well at school, they're doing very well when they at university, they're getting fantastic roles, but it becomes very hard in Australia to actually to work as well as feeling that you're being a good mum. And I think we don't question full-time working dads that they're good dads, but there's definitely questioning full-time mums that you can be a good mum. Don't underestimate the importance of passion, resilience and persistence. Life is a journey and not a destination, so seize the day. Thank you for listening.